Today, the 21st of February, is World Tourist Guiding Day. For 2021, we are celebrating rural storytelling. I'd like to share a little story about this church in Kinneff. It's my local church, and of course, 400 years ago when the story took place, it didn't look like this. At that time, the government and people of Scotland were really furious. Their king had been beheaded on the orders of Oliver Cromwell, and so his son was crowned Charles II, King of Scotland, on New Year's Day 1651, here at Scone, on the Stone of Destiny. The crown, sword of state and sceptre, known as the Honours of Scotland, were used in the ceremony. Afterwards, Cromwell was incandescent with rage. He sent his army north to Dunnottar Castle, where the honours of Scotland had been taken for safekeeping, along with the king's papers. But the castle could not be taken, and so it endured a long 8-month siege by Cromwell's army right through the winter. By the end of May, the heavy artillery had arrived from the south, and Cromwell's soldiers bombarded the castle. That's why it looks like this today, why it's a ruin. But when they got inside the castle, they discovered the honours of Scotland had disappeared. Around 2 months before the castle was finally taken, a local lady, Christian Fletcher, and her maid were allowed to enter the castle by Cromwell's troops. They visited a relative there, and when they came out, it said that Cromwell's officers helped the lady onto her horse. Under her robe, she had the crown of Scotland. Her maid had the sceptre and sword of state in a bag of flax she carried on her back. Together they travelled south down the rocky Mearns coast to Kinneff. The lady's husband, the Reverend Fletcher, was minister of the church in Kinneff, and there they hid the honours of Scotland, burying them at dead of night under the floor in the church. On the 31st of March 1652, the Reverend Fletcher wrote to the Countess Marshall in case he didn't survive until they were needed again. At that time, the Earl Marshal himself was imprisoned in the Tower of London. Today, inside the church, there are various items recording this amazing event. The jewels themselves were finally dug up at the restoration of the monarchy in 1660.